mean, there are already issues related to, for example, lethal autonomous weapons. What is the impact of these technologies if they're applied to military activities, if they're applied to weaponry in general? That would potentially have a huge impact on international peace and security, because it might, in fact, begin to change the how the international norms and instruments and mechanisms which really governed this area, military activities and general sort of areas of warfare. It might begin to impact those norms and applications and implementation of those norms. So we have to put our heads together. It's beginning to happen already. There is a group of government experts starting these discussions this year, but the multilateral discussions on these issues normally takes a long time, and the challenge here is that the technological advancement or progress is really taking place very rapidly. So we might be completely outpaced by the speed of those technological development, which is why we think it would be really critical to have this kind of discussions, dialogues that we have together with experts and researchers in industries, not just government experts. Well, there are some people who are beginning to say that perhaps we should have some sort of a guidelines, or, one step further, some sort of regulations begin to be sort of looked into. Again, not in terms of development of technologies. These are actually dual purpose. I mean, these are technologies that can be misused for malicious purposes. So the guidelines and potentially regulations, or maybe it should be in the form of a code of conduct, ethical code of conduct, will be in the areas of applications of those technologies. I mean, no one's really saying that we should regulate the development itself, but we need to really think very hard about how we might apply those technologies. And the application really needs to be on the positive side of it, that will benefit humankind and all of us, but not in the areas of potentially damaging for humankind. Speaking, I would suggest that we also create incentives for different actors, including government actors, to really be convinced that by signing up to those guidelines, they will in fact benefit. If you actually only use the pressure tactics, very often it doesn't really yield the results that we are looking for. So I think it has to be a very strategic combination of incentives, moral sort of a high ground, putting momentums and pressures to sign up, and of course the civil society actors speaking up, and then also approaching government actors that this is in fact in the interest of governments to look into and have serious and honest conversations of this. Because if we actually fail to somehow eliminate the negative impact of those high technologies, we will all lose together, and that's the kind of scenario that we would like to avoid. So it's the partnership I think we need to have. That needs to be inclusive, that goes beyond governments, that includes the sort of scientists and researchers and engineers and designers of those technologies who will be speaking up and voicing what they need to voice, and then put that together with the kinds of multilateral international process leading up to very constructive discussions to have the regulations and guidelines type of discussions. So I think it has to be multiple strategies that we have to use. It would be very good if there is a sort of a consensus that they will, everyone agrees that there is positive side and then there is negative impact potentially. Where I come from, I think understanding of that multiple impacts of those AI will be quite important. It would be also good, as I said earlier, that each actor, different actors gathered here, each of us actually go back with the respective understanding of the role that we need to play in the forthcoming discussions. And then the third is a sense of partnership. If we can leave this conference thinking that what kind of a partnership we need to forge, and then if we can actually start making that network and partnership, then I think we will have achieved quite important things here.